Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hakoreja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the anime episode number 283, which is titled Sasuke Story Starlines. Now, I was looking forward to watching this episode, but I have to say that the anime team is really rushing through the Sasuke Retsuden anime adaptation, and I kind of don't like it. I really don't. Because again, I was excited to see Sakura being introduced into the story via this episode, but the anime writers for some reason ended up cutting out a lot of stuff from the novel and the manga adaptation, especially the scene where Sakura uses her perfect chakra to debut a Sakura specific sensory jutsu. Now, when that scene happened in the manga, I wrote about how I felt that it could have been better visualized, and I had my fingers crossed that maybe the anime will do that moment justice. But no, the anime was like, ha, you thought. And they cut out that scene entirely, and I'm like, what the heck? But anyway, this episode opens up with Sasuke being pushed around by the guards, and Penzilla and Gigi are worried about him, and they're like, why are the guards singling you out? Did you do something? And Sasuke was like, you know what? After Zanzul gave me a warning, I guess Zanzul is keeping an eye on me. Now, in the manga, for those of you who don't know, when Sasuke was being pushed around by the guards, he was able to steal what was it? A piece of cloth that prisoners are supposed to wrap around their hands so that Menno doesn't attack them. So when Sasuke was being pushed around, he was able to steal one of those red pieces of cloth from the guard. But now in the anime, he's just being pushed around. And then we get to see all of them sitting inside the cell, and this is where Gigi is like, "Hey, Sasuke, aren't you getting hurt? Because after what the guards did to you, don't you hurt your body and whatever he was saying?" And he was like, "Well, you should walk into the infirmary because there's a new doctor there. She's very pretty, she's very beautiful, and everything." And I'm like, you know what? We know that it's Sakura, right? And I have to say that if I was Gigi and I was describing the beautiful doctor, I would have mentioned the pink hair. But then again, the writers don't necessarily want Sasuke to realize that so early that Sakura is in the Tartar observatory. Anyway, they're talking about the doctor, and Gigi is like, "Well, she's not wearing a wedding ring, so that means that she's single, right? And Sasuke, you should go pay her a visit." And Sasuke is like, "No, I'm good." And this is where Gano ends up talking about how, because they want to talk about something interesting, Gano mentions that there are rumors about a secret cellar downstairs. Where was it? Yeah, under Zanzul's office, there's the secret cellar, and Sasuke's like, "Tell me more about it." And Gano like, "I don't necessarily know more about it. There are just rumors." And Sasuke's like, "Yep, I guess I have to check out that secret cellar." So Sasuke is outside from his cell. Again, he's not wearing that red piece of cloth to protect him from Menno. So as he's walking around, Menno does attack him. Now, in the anime, in this particular episode, we did get an extra scene. So it turns out that the Menno that Sasuke ends up having a rematch with, that's a new version of Menno, because the previous version of Menno that Sasuke attacked in the previous episode, he slashed at his at the raptor's chest and sliced off its fingers, or talons, whatever you want to call them. Claws, yeah. But yeah, so that Menno is dead, and Zanzul isn't worried about it because Zanzul's like, "Hey, I'll just make a new one." And yeah, a new one he did make. Now, personally, I would have cut this particular scene because during the rematch, Sasuke is wondering if it's a new raptor that he's facing or if it's Menno all fully healed. And I have to say that by cutting out the previous scene with Zanzo, the audience would have been as confused as Sasuke during this particular rematch. But no, we already know that this is a new raptor that Sasuke is fighting. So Sasuke does get slashed after he tries to use the Genjutsu again because he wants to confirm whether or not Genjutsu works on Menno. It doesn't. And yeah, he gets slashed, and it turns out that Menno's talons or claws were poison. And it's a very unique poison that's specific to the land of Ridaku. So of course Sasuke isn't immune to that particular poison, and he tries to put up a fight, but yeah, he loses his balance and everything. And this is where Sakura runs in with the red piece of cloth around her hand, and she's able to ask Menno to like run away from there and not attack Sasuke. And she's like, Sasuke, everything will be alright. And Sasuke faints. And when he wakes up, he's in the infirmary and he's very surprised to see Sakura there. And Sakura's like, hey, don't worry about it, okay? And this is where Sakura tells him that, yeah, you were poisoned and you weren't immune to this particular poison. So I'm going to draw some blood. And she draws some blood. Now, in the manga, there is a hawk that Sakura uses to send send Sasuke's blood sample back to the village to have it analyzed. And yeah, that scene has been cut out. And there was also this scene where Sasuke, because he's like, Sakura, if you're here, who's looking after Salad? And in the manga, Sakura tells Sasuke that don't worry, Iruka Sensei is looking after Salad, but I'm here to help you because the parameters of the mission have changed. And Sasuke's like, what do you mean have changed? So she talks about the book that Kakashi ended up finding out in the previous episode. The book that has details about how the Sage of Six Paths ended up falling ill, similarly to Naruto, and then he ended up meeting the astronomer Tater. And that one day they ended up seeing this meteor, and there were particles that were emitted from the meteor, and those ultra particles ended up curing the Sage of Six Paths from his illness. And then I guess that those ultra particles are hidden in a place that the Sage of Six Paths ended up calling as the sky that fell to the earth and everything. And Sakura's like, yep, we need those ultra particles in order to cure Naruto. And Sasuke's like, yep, I'll go get those ultra particles. But Sakura, you need to head back home because there's danger here and everything. And Sakura is like, well, don't underestimate me, okay? And Sasuke's like, no, I'm not underestimating you. I realize how strong you are, but there's something not right here, and I don't want you getting hurt. And Sakura's like, you know what, Sasuke, you need me on this mission, okay? I'm going to help you out. I did protect you earlier, and you have this bad habit of not accepting help, but I'm here, and you have to deal with it. And also Sakura was like, well, it was kind of cute that you were worrying about me, right? You are my husband after all. You are supposed to worry about me, right? So as these two are talking, Sasuke senses that, yeah, someone is outside the door, and it turns out that Gigi has been overhearing these two, and he's like, wait, Sasuke, you're married to the new doctor? How the heck does that work? And Sakura's like, yeah, will you please not tell anyone about this? I am married to Sasuke, and I was missing him, so I decided to meet him. And Gigi, who is a big romantic, he understands that. And yeah, Gigi and Sasuke are making their way back to the cell, and both of them have those red pieces of cloth around their hands so that Meno doesn't attack them. Sakura ended up giving one to Sasuke, and this is where Gigi tells Sasuke that, hey, I have a fiance too, and once I'm out, we'll get married and everything. And he ends up asking Sasuke that about what type of work he does, and if he's with Sakura or basically his wife every day. And Sasuke's like, no. Sometimes my work sends me out for so long that I don't come back home for several years. And Gigi's like, several years? You don't get to be with your wife for several years? What the heck? Naturally, such a marriage would disintegrate, right? And Sasuke is like, no, I love her. She loves me. Our marriage won't disintegrate. And Gigi's like, are you sure? Really? Aren't you worried about someone swooping in and replacing you? And Sasuke's like, no, I understand my feelings for my wife. And Gigi's like, well, you can say that, right? Because those are your feelings. But are you really sure about Sakura's feelings? And yeah, it was kind of fun to see Sasuke feeling a bit insecure, even though we know that this marriage isn't ending. So as these two are talking, let's go back. So as these two are talking, this is where Sasuke asks Gigi whether or not he knows about a book called The Map of the Heavens, because that book was mentioned in the passages that Kakashi ended up sending Sakura. And Gigi's like, no, I don't, but it will probably be in the library. You should ask Penzilla. And Sasuke's like, why Penzilla? So it turns out that Penzilla is the library assistant, and he has access to all of these books. So Sakura decides to go in and talk to Penzilla, and she's like, hey Penzilla, I'm looking for a book called The Map of the Heavens. Do you know about it? And she does find that book in the inventory or the logbook or whatever. And Penzilla is like, well, I'm afraid you can't have that book because it's in the cellar, and going into the cellar is forbidden, but I do have the key. And Sakura is like, well, can I borrow the key? And Penzilla's like, nope. If Zanzu finds out, I'll be in trouble. And this is where Sakura's like, hey, I'll gamble it for you, okay? Because Peninsula has a gambling problem, right? So she's like, whatever game you want to play, if I win, I get the key. Okay, let's do this. And Peninsula is like, well, it's your funeral because the game that I want to play is called Starlines. And it's a game that Sakura hasn't played before. So Peninsula is like sharing the rules with Sakura, and Sakura's like, well, can I see these deck of 60 cards? And she picks them up, and she noticed, and yeah, this particular scene, when I read that in the novel for the first time, I was like, wow. So she basically has like what? A photogenic type memory in a sense, because Sakura, as she's going through these 60 cards, she's memorizing every imperfection, every scratch, every bend, and everything in such a small amount of time. And then she ends up using that memory to ensure that she always draws with Peninsula. And yeah, they keep on playing, and it's all a draw, and Peninsula gives up. He's like, oh, okay, so I guess I can't win, right? And Sakura's like, well, if you want to quit, I'll get the key, right? And of course, Peninsula ends up giving Sakura the key. Now, this particular scene with Sakura playing with Peninsula, while there are other inmates around in the library, it was a bit sexually charged in the manga, but I can understand why they toned that down for the anime episode. So it's nighttime, and Sakura and Sasuke are making their way towards the library to enter the cellar. And this is where Sakura explains to Sasuke that what she ended up doing while playing the gambling Starlines game with Peninsula, that required a lot of effort. And Sasuke's like, effort? In what sense? So yeah, Sakura explained to him that I ended up memorizing every scratch, every bend on every specific card. I memorized the rules, and it's a trick that I ended up picking up, or a method that I created when playing games with Lady Tsunade, because I realized that if I end up drawing with Lady Tsunade in every game, Tsunade would get bored and she would quit. So yeah, that's how I ended up creating that method. So yeah, her photogenic memory, good for you, Sakura, good for you, big brain Sakura. So as these two are walking, this is where Sakura's like, well, is Gigi okay? Sasuke's like, why are you asking? She's like, well, he ends up coming to the infirmary a lot, and we only talk about his fiance, but he's there a lot. And Sasuke, because he's feeling insecure, Sasuke's like, Sakura, how do you feel about me not being in your life a lot? And Sakura's like, well, Sasuke, I understand that, right? You are needed, I'm needed inside the village, you're needed outside the village, but truth be told, I do sometimes miss you. But it's only sometimes, Sasuke, and it's natural for Sakura to miss her husband. And Sasuke's like, well, he grabs her hand and he ends up creating a ring for her. It's a chakra ring, and he ends up giving the ring to Sakura, and he's like, wear that, Sakura. And of course, Sakura appreciates the gesture of the wedding ring, and yeah, she's like, Sasuke, what's gotten into you? And I have to say that the anime team did a good job of visualizing this moment with both characters being bathed in moonlight. It was a very, very romantic moment, and Sakura is like, well, Sasuke-kun, thank you, Sasuke-kun, thank you. But yeah, these two keep on walking, and yeah, this was the moment where she was supposed to demonstrate her sensory jutsu, but she didn't, because the anime writers for some reason decided to cut that scene out, and I'm like, oh, come on now. Come on. Anyway, they make their way into the cellar, and they find the book called The Map of the Heavens. They open it up, and it has like these 12 drawings, and Sakura recognizes the drawing style because it resembles Sai, which means that the artist is someone from the Land of Fire, or he learned that art style from there. So both of them deduce that, yep, these drawings are probably drawn by the Sage of Six Paths. And now, in the manga and the anime, and in the manga and the novel, trying to figure out the puzzle involving the 12 drawings, it took a while. It allowed the readers to basically try and figure out the riddle themselves too. It took a week or two for Sakura to figure something out. But yeah, the anime doesn't have a lot of time, so seeing both of these two rushing through the riddle, it was kind of disappointing. But yeah, they really rushed through it, and they were like, yep, these animals, they basically portray the tailed beasts, and and everything. And yeah, they aren't necessarily close to figuring out the entire riddle, but they have made the connection that these animals on the drawings are basically the tailed beasts. Now, as these two are talking, this is where we get to see that a person is listening is eavesdropping. That's the word, is eavesdropping. And yeah, from what I can remember, this scene wasn't in the manga, and this scene wasn't in the novel either. So yeah, this person is eavesdropping, so expect a twist coming soon. And then these two are like, well, we figured out the riddle, but we still aren't close to finding out where the polar particles are being kept. And this is where Sasuke is like, well, there are rumors about Zamzul having the secret cellar under his office, so we need to check that out. And Sakura is like, well, that can work, because delegate from the prime minister is coming tomorrow, so I'll transform into that delegate, and we'll figure out a way to get into Zanzul's office. So let's do that. And this is where the episode ends. I did end up doing a written review of this for the Geekieri. The link to my review will be down in the comment section below if you want to read that. But yeah, very rushed, and I was kind of surprised that we didn't get to see any moments from the Kakashi Retsuden novel like we did in the previous episode. And I really hope we get to see more moments from that particular story, because again, why introduce us, the viewers, to Prince Nanara if we aren't going to get a follow-up, right? I really hope we go back to getting certain scenes from the Kakashi Retsuden novel being animated. Let's see what happens. But anyway, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below, and until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.